Somebody asked me the other day how I prioritize and execute to be responsive. I had done a vlog on responsiveness and how responsiveness is a superpower. The first step to being able to successfully deploy a strategy against what needs to get done is always start with the things that are most uncomfortable. Don't start with the things that are the lighter lift, because the light lift things push the things that are uncomfortable out. And if you're not solving the uncomfortable problems, the things you don't want to do first, it actually can taint your ability to do a good job with everything else. And that is how I really try to keep my mind on task and fresh. If you don't solve the uncomfortable problems first, then they linger. They're just lingering in your head. They're just sitting there, and they're taking up capacity, and therefore I'm not going to be a very good problem solver. I'm not going to be as good as I could be if I didn't have capacity being chewed up by shit that I don't want to do or don't want to deal with. So that's how I think about prioritizing what needs to happen, prioritizing what I'm going to respond to. And I had talked about this superpower of responding quickly. Like do it now, get it done now. When it comes to uncomfortable things, uncomfortable conversations, uncomfortable situations, I'm not saying go rush into it. Emotional intelligence, you got to make a superpower. And if there's something really uncomfortable that I need to do, sometimes I'll sleep on it. And I'm a big proponent of sleeping on things, that could go really wrong if not treated the right way. That could be catastrophic. But once you know what you need to do, don't sit on it any longer. Like get into it, wedge into it. You'll find in life, whether you're a young entrepreneur, you're on your entrepreneurial journey in business, or you're working for somebody into your career, you're starting a family, whatever it is. If you sit on the uncomfortable things you know you need to do and you avoid them, and our minds are beautiful. We have this beautiful creation, this brain, left brain and right brain. One side is analytical and one side is creative, and sometimes they compete with each other. All the time they compete with each other. And the creative side, everyone, I don't care how athletic you are, you know how to play mental gymnastics. It's a wonderful defensive mechanism built into your brain to protect yourself, to protect your ego, to protect the pain of having difficult conversations or being in difficult situations. You play mental gymnastics. We all do it. It's just par for the course. And so you got to use your analytical side to recognize when your creative side is being overly creative. And I think they call this wisdom. I think that's what wisdom is. I think it's knowing how your brain works, and when you need to check yourself and when you need to say, oh, I'm in defensive mode, or this is my default defense mechanism kicking in right now. Swallow it and let's jump back to the other side and let's look at this analytically. But let's also at the same time listen more than speaking. So let's swallow our emotions too. This is what emotional intelligence is, and the way I define it in my ADHD neurodivergent mind, right? Uneducated mind, right? Because I'm a college dropout. So I learned through the book of life, the book of doing, the book of making tuition payments and experiencing the pain and trauma of life. And obviously I've only ever eaten what I've killed. So I haven't worked with anyone, or I should say I haven't worked for anyone since I was like 20 years old. So I only know what I know through doing, through experiences, through mentorship, which is a very big, important thing, which we can address a different day. But the key is for me is when you know what you need to do and it's uncomfortable and you might get angst or anxiety about it, you need to face it. You need to slay that dragon. That thing is going to eat you from the inside if you don't address it. This becomes really much easier over time. It's never easy. I have had people say to me over the years, I've become more cold or more bold maybe. And I've seen this transition in my wife too, Amanda. And of course we've employed, thousands of people, and gosh, you deal with so many different situations, as an employer, as a business owner, and some of the worst of the worst, like the things that we've lived through the last 25 years of being in business. Some horrific stuff, employee committing suicide, employees dying of cancer, employees, spouses dying of drug overdoses, kids dying of drug overdoses, abuse, physical abuse, real bad physical abuse, sending cops to rescue people from their own homes, having cops show up at the factories, you name it, we've dealt with it, and there is a little bit of a softening over time, where you start to understand human nature, but the ugly side of human nature, and it's not surprising when something happens, but at the same time, it's not surprising. And what I've found, and I've seen it in my wife too, is over time our circles have shrunk. They're like small, and we try not to stay in this mode of the world is ugly, because we truly believe the world is beautiful, and what we're trying to do for the world in our community is a really beautiful thing. It's a really wonderful thing. In those moments of chaos or pain, they're so small in the grand scheme of things. If you're 99% of the time everything is hunky-dory, and you're 1% of the time, or a 0.5% of the time, you're dealing with chaos and pain, like, people have a tendency to let that consume them. And I'm just trying to create a metaphor for the uncomfortable things in life and how it can be all-consuming if you let it. You can let one little thing skew and taint your mind, and especially if you perseverate on that thing. And so growth is not allowing yourself to be overly influenced by that thing, by that painful thing, by that thing you need to do, by that uncomfortable thing, and not let it consume you and not eat you. And so you need to slay that thing. And I know I just went off on a tangent, but I wanted to tie this to real world, and not just metaphorically, but at the same time, we're all dealing with things in our lives, external pressures, internal pressures, people and relationships and the unknown. Everybody deals with the same thing. It doesn't matter if you're just starting out on your journey in life. and getting into adulthood or graduating college or in college, you know, your problem. And I remember, like, before all the things going on, right, in business and life, and my problems felt so much bigger when I was younger. You know, trying to make rent, living off hamburger helper and ramen noodles in our little shitty apartment in college. Uh, they felt so much bigger because there was no experiential knowledge, and we, and I can speak for my wife too, we didn't have the tools to navigate those things as kids. We didn't have the advisement on how to navigate those things. And so I lost you. I ran out of card space. So I'm going to try to wrap this for you. I was talking about not having the tools to navigate those things. And part of what I'm trying to give to you is I'm trying to give you the tools to navigate those things. And the reason I went into kind of depth on talking about external forces and what people deal with on a daily basis, and giving some examples of kind of what we've had to deal with on a daily basis, the worst of the worst things. If you let those things consume you, it can become a real challenge because you're going to skew the way you look at the world. But if you're focusing on the 99% that's good, you can keep your mind clear. And another technique to keeping your mind clear is start with those things that are uncomfortable. And I hope this makes sense for you, because I did a total ADHD thing today. I was all over the place, but it comes back to, if you let something eat you inside, it'll destroy you from the inside. It becomes an infection, and so you need to root it out. You need to gut that infection, and the only way to do that is by force ranking your priorities, and that means start with the hard things first. Start with the hard conversations you need to have. Start with the painful conversations you need to have, or the toughest issues, and then secondarily, after you've done that, then pick the low-hanging fruit. What are the things I can get done fast? I can get that email sent. I can get this thing sent. I can make that phone call. I can get that done. And that's secondary. And then the tertiary thing to attack is everything else. Some of those things may take a little bit of time, but at least your mind is clear and it's not being influenced by external forces, so you can give it your full capacity. I hope that helps. I hope that makes sense. Please comment below if this is making sense to you, this idea, and how to force rank your responsiveness to situations and events in your life, how to force rank them for success. I do believe you'll be successful if you're able to do that. Catch up with you later.